I'm assuming this is not on. Hello. At least we got that much figured out. Are you ready? Are you going off the cuff? Are you going off the cuff? Or do you have a speech?
Oh, God. Okay, we're going to get started. Yeah. So just a reminder, we're transitioning from the pep rally, right, to a formal event. But definitely cheer for your friends, for your teams. Do that. Thank you guys for gathering here tonight to honor our fall sports teams. Pretty incredible and we'll touch upon this later in our programming, but to hear that 2 of our fall teams were invited to the next NEPSAC playoffs, that's pretty freaking cool. So as I watched the final minutes of the football game on Saturday, I was once again reminded that sports is so much more than winning and losing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy winning a lot, but I think what I love about sports even more is what it teaches us as people. In what other venue are you taught the importance of discipline, the value of teamwork, and the advantage of being mentally tough? Think about it. It wasn't our day at that point. We hadn't secured any victories against the Huskies. Our football team was quickly down 7-0, and we fumbled on our very next possession. How easy would it have been to blame the officials, make excuses, or even give up? Instead, the team remained disciplined, worked together, and did whatever it took to succeed, eventually defeating the Huskies 27-7 in the final game of Powder Keg Weekend. And as those remaining fans stormed the field to celebrate the Rams beating the Huskies in football for the first time since 2016, I smiled knowing sports is what taught us to keep fighting. Sports is what brought us together to have this special moment as a community. That things would be really different without sports. As an athletic director, a coach, and most importantly, a fan, this fall season reminded me about those life skills and lessons taught to us through sports. My hope is that those lessons spilled over into our daily routines, increasing how proud each of us are to be a Ram and how amazing it is to call Tilton School our home. Before I say a few thank yous and we hear from each fall team, I'd again like to offer a huge congratulations to the girls varsity soccer team and varsity football team for earning a spot in the NEPSAC playoffs. For girls soccer, they are the number 3 seed in the Class D tournament, and they will host their quarterfinal game here at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. 2 p.m. on Wednesday, which means we will make sure that that grass field is lined with a bunch of people screaming our butts off, that's for sure. Varsity football earns their first bowl game nod since 2016 and will travel to Middletown, Rhode Island on Friday evening to take on St. George's at 6 p.m. So please, one more time, because they totally deserve it, let's give another round of applause for those two teams. No task is too big or too small when it comes to athletics. So I'll start with a collective thank you to everyone involved in the fall season, especially our athletic training staff, the communications office, housekeeping, maintenance, sage dining, and so many more not mentioned. Thank you to Ms. Johnson, Mr. Carter, Ms. Corvo, and Mr. Preston for their tireless efforts day in and day out. This group of powerhouse people is what fueled our ability to play athletic contests without any hiccups every week. I am truly fortunate to have a department like them to work with, so thank you. The final thank you goes to each and every one of you, to our families, our fans, faculty, student athletes, and coaches. Thank you for our fall season, a season that I believe made us all proud to be members of Ram Nation. Tonight, we will hear from 6 different coaches who will do their best to summarize their season while capturing these amazing moments that happened throughout the fall. The order for tonight's ceremony will be cross country, mountain biking, varsity field hockey, boys varsity soccer, girls varsity soccer, and we'll finish with varsity football. As a reminder, if you receive an award tonight, please stay after the ceremony to have your picture taken with your coach. Mr. Allen, you are up first.
Thank you, Ms. Brisson. This was, as a lot of people know, my first year, has been my first year at Tilton. So obviously my first year coaching cross country here, my first time speaking in the chapel. And it was something that in August, I honestly didn't know how it was going to unfold. And yet, just if there's one thing that I took away from my time with the team this year, it was just the heart that they brought to every step they took. And yet also, if there's one thing that I learned, it's that we have the makings of a very formidable program here beyond what's already happened. And one little anecdote, I think speaks to that, in that one of our last races was supposed to be a home meet. And it was on our course, and we'd spent a couple of days spray painting all the rocks and the roots behind the back 40 through the woods, just so people wouldn't trip and fall. And eventually Mother Nature took a hand, and it was decided among the ADs that we probably shouldn't run on it because it was wet and muddy and hilly and tricky up there. And thanks to Ms. Brisson, we found ourselves running at St. Paul's a few days later because their course drains better. And speaking to Harrison there, the coach, and thanked them for sort of pulling our chestnuts out of the fire there when we couldn't host things. And it was interesting that he said, "Oh no, we're glad to run here. We wanted to run here. Your course is really tough. We didn't want to go there." And that told me that, namely, anyone who can join us next year will get some darn good running under their belt, and that kind of training will really, help us knock some seconds off those people down on 93. Coaching, you never know what you're going to get. If you're coaching baseball, you could get the next Ted Williams. Ask your grandparents who that was. You may get a bunch of hitters who couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. And yet we just got some runners who were just every day showed up, brought their A game, and it was fun to run with them. So I got a twofer because I got my workout with them. And one of them, simply as I'd be running with them, we'd be in a pack, and then as the season progressed, as the pack pulled away from me, he was pulling farther away from me and closer to the pack. And this runner was someone who, I'll always remember at Proctor, there were 2 loops there, and the first loop, I got his picture coming around the bend, and I got his picture after one runner, and so I looked for that other runner the next time, thinking, well, this guy's going to be right behind that runner. And I didn't get his picture the next time because by the time I got my camera out, he'd passed. Namely, he had lapped, or not lapped, but he had passed a number of runners. So the people that I was keen in on, who maybe he was drafting behind, he'd passed them. And he just got better and better all year. And that's why our most improved runner, without a doubt, is Locust Yao. Does he come up? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Is Locust 2 stay here or? Oh, okay, right. I'm new at this. I thought I'd tell you. One thing that I probably got from my days as a coxswain is bellowing at people towards the end of a race. And one thing that I would yell, as I'll tell you, is to, what would I say sometimes that you should do about a tank?
Yeah.
What would I say about what you should do with your tank at the end of a race? Do you remember?
Keep going.
Well, yes, keep going, yes. And, yes, and I would ask them to empty the tank, just to spend it, to empty the tank. We had a young man who just really took that to heart. I have never seen a teenager who I thought was on the verge of cardiac arrest. And until this season, this young man, he couldn't speak after the race. And I thought, oh, well, there are EMTs here. It'll be fine. And he just really just gave every last ounce. I mean, he didn't empty the tank. He took it out of the car and shook it, and just to make sure he got every drop out of himself. And it was just so gratifying to see someone who put all of himself into it. And that is Jason Chen. Right. When I came on board here, and it became clear that we needed to have a captain, there's some adage that another history teacher could help me with. It's like sort of people rise to the occasion or leaders just emerge. And that was the case with another one of our runners, not only a leader, but someone who simply, two things, between our first race and our second race down at St. Paul's, his time on the same course improved 1:34 seconds. On the same course, 1:34, because we get all the time. It's like, wow, he shaved 1.5 minutes off his time on that course. And on the same distance, on the course at Holderness, he shaved 1:30 off that same distance that he ran at Proctor. And that's just shows you that someone just continually trying to get better. And I just can't think of anyone that would be down on the rail trail and they would get ahead of me. I just knew that this person would keep everyone together because I'm at the 4 mile mark. They're 6 miles and yep, and everyone got back safely. And I think he was someone who one person asked, I think maybe it was you, Jason, as we get down to the rail trail and into the woods, they're like, what if we see a bear? I'm not sure where that came from, but thought we'd see a bear. And I think the answer was, well, it'll improve your time. And that was Isaac. And I just felt like He had such a right hand there that I'm grateful for it. And I'm darn excited the fact that none of these people are seniors, which makes me very excited for next year. But our most valuable runner and captain, Isaac Carter. Hang on. Okay. Huh?
We want the whole thing. Sure. Why don't you guys come on up? Mountain biking, come on up, come on up. Who's mountain biking? Come on up, come on up, come on. This isn't all of us, but it's enough right now. So we'll represent. So I wanted to sum up the season just a little bit, and so I have a little anecdote. We went to Spalding, which is right down the road, and it was a new place for us to ride. And I don't think anybody had ever been there, so it was all new trails for everybody. I asked everybody what trail they rode and how they liked it. And so Coach Bayer asked Sophia, well, what trail did you ride? And she said, do you remember what you said? She said, I went up the hill and then I went down it. and she wasn't wrong. Sometimes we did it in different order. Sometimes we went down first, but we spent a lot of the year traveling around this part of New Hampshire and just and enjoying the ride. So here are some places where we rode this year. I had to make a list because there's so many. We went to Ramblin' View Farm. We went to Franklin Falls Dam. We went to Highland, Ahern State Park, to Green Woodlands Foundation. We went to Spalding. We went to Lake Webster. We actually rode our bikes to Lake Webster. It was a long day. We went to the gyro trails up in Plymouth. We went to Page Hill, and we biked in the back 40. Last but least also. Here are some of the bikes we broke this year. Well, we broke Jack's bike, broke the bike that replaced Jack's bike, that's right, and the bike that Jack replaced Jack's bike with also broke. And okay, so and not only did we just ride around, we did some races. So brace yourselves for this. It came as a shock when we learned, when we spoke of the shift to racing this year. Things went downhill morale-wise. People got cranky. And it threatened to derail the season, but then we shifted gears and had some racing. And we raced it at Proctor and Holderness and New Hampton twice. They had a great season. So I'll turn it over to the bear here.
All right, so we're handing out a couple of awards to some great riders. So as Mr. Allen was saying, we got to ride bikes with these guys, and we got to see the enthusiasm and motivation they had for biking. We went up a lot of big hills and went down some really fun downhills. So our most valuable player is somebody that was showing up every single day. He had enthusiasm even if nobody else did. He was just gung-ho to try the hardest trails, and he gave the best school meeting speeches, I think. He has a sweet new bike. Ask him about it. The most valuable player and one of our captains, Nick Austin. So Coach's Award goes to somebody that's really special to the mountain biking team. She is not our fastest rider, but she always has a smile on her face. So Sophia is one of our, sort of cheerleaders. She would have been a captain if she felt like getting up in front of the school meeting. But we couldn't force her to do that, so she is a captain in spirit, and she gets our Coach's Award for this year.
Yes. No, Bellis. Nice to see you. Are you nervous? Oh, wait. All right, we good? Okay, stop talking. All right, it's hard to believe that we are already standing here to celebrate our season. I know that sounds really cliche, but the past few weeks and months really did go by very quickly. I was not expecting to be the head field hockey coach this fall, but it has certainly been one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. This is my 4th year coaching field hockey, and this team has by far been the most united group I have worked with. I really appreciate you girls giving me a chance and just working to be a team, get better, have fun. We also picked up our first win since 2018. So I'm really proud of that. Yep. Yes. I have a handful of important thank yous that I want to make sure I address. I love being a part of the athletic department at Tilton. Miss Brisson is a passionate leader and someone that has been very supportive of me as a coach and as an assistant athletic director. Tara, thank you so much for running the clock, being a part of setup and breakdown of the field, making sure that the live stream is all set, making sure we have officials. Miss Brisson, I don't think anyone really knows how many little things Miss Brisson does each day that you have no idea about, but if they didn't happen, you would know about them. So you're the best. Thank you, Tara. Thank you. And Mr. Preston for always having our uniforms ready and on game days with the fields and the clocks. Chuck and Heather for keeping us healthy and safe. And also Nurse Phil would step in a lot to help out. So I really appreciate that. And to Miss Killigrew, an amazing assistant coach. I know that coaching field hockey was not your first choice. You are so smart and you picked up on so many things I was trying to do. And you listened a lot, or I listened to you a lot on the sidelines, giving direction. And I really value you. So thank you. And then to captains, Sarah, Diana, and Bella. You really stepped into your leadership roles this fall and did a tremendous job on and off the field. I really appreciate the ways in which you work together to unite the team. I find all three of you very different, but all very inclusive, and you've made everyone on the team feel valued. So thank you so much for your leadership and attention to so many different details. I could always really count on you girls, so thank you. Thank you. And I also want to say thank you to our manager, Ellery. Ellery was an incredible manager, so was always at team events and really helping us during games and then also playing sometimes with us at practice. So thank you, Ellery, for all of your hard work. Ms. Killigrew is going to present our first award.
All right, so I'm presenting our Most Improved Award. This year, our Most Improved, I would say, was an early standout for this recognition. She was a player who went from being a little nervous, lacking a little confidence, maybe a little lost in drills at times, and then just kind of clicked and went from somebody who picked up on things right away and could apply them right to her play in practice and on the field in games, and could coach up her teammates like really confidently, which is awesome to see. She got some really meaningful starts this season and started to just be one of a reliable go-to to know she's going to know what to do and she's going to make it happen. We affectionately knew her as Hot Wheels for her fiery personality and quick feet. This year, our Most Improved player is Catherine Parrish.
Okay. Now our next award is our Coaches Award. So this player did not see a lot of time last year. This year she came ready to work hard and get better. She is an incredibly smart player and someone that knows what to do with the ball. Even better about this person is her dedication to being an amazing teammate. Someone that communicates effectively. She is a consistent presence on and off the field. I find that she's a really excellent listener, knows what to say, and genuinely asks for feedback, wants to get better. Ella Ruggles was our leading goal scorer this year. There's more, I'm not done yet, hold on. So Ella, you have been so fun to work with, and I really look forward to next year with you. So congratulations. Okay, last but not least, so our most valuable player. We would not have had the success we did this year without her. I cannot say enough good things about her. First and foremost, someone who has really stepped into who she is with poise and confidence. Her confidence in the sport of field hockey has grown a great deal this fall. She's a very hard worker, someone who is self-directed, runs her own drills to warm up, someone who would literally throw her body on the field to save a goal, and someone who has become a leader this year, especially with her vocal directives. I really think so. Sophia Brea is our most valuable. Okay, so that's all for us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. 21 years ago, when I stepped up here for the first time, I had one child, and Tilton School had been to the playoffs once in boys soccer. I now have 5 children, a lot more gray hair, and we have now made 7 appearances in the playoff, 5 appearances in the championship, and 2 championships. It's been a wonderful... It's been a wonderful run, and I would not have wanted to end with any other group than the one that's behind me now, and I mean that sincerely. Their affect at practice every day, the way that they bonded has been absolutely fantastic. They were a really, really fun group to work with. We wish that the results had been better, but what I will tell you is that there's an underclass group here who is returning, who is very, very good. They are very, reminiscent of a team in 2013 that had a very similar record and then went out in 2014 and won the New England Championship. So there's some underclassmen here with a lot of potential. I look forward to being a fan next year. It won't be easy, but I'm also going to be much more of a field hockey dad as well. For this evening, our two captains are Cody Perkins and Hilah Ruggles. So throughout the year, throughout the season, there was a significant amount of hard work that was done. Even in the games, where the result was slanted for the other team, they worked hard until the end. There was one young man that the team voted as MVP, who stood out throughout the season, kept a cool, calm, level head, is a stunning player. And so this year's most valuable player is Yeri Harju. Coach's award for us will vary. Sometimes it'll be a player who maybe doesn't get a lot of playing time, works really hard, carries the balls out to practice, takes care of things and supports their teammates. This year it was a player who the coaches unanimously just thought on a daily basis would just bring it in every aspect. He's a honey badger. He never, ever stops. He appropriately gets on his teammates to be better, but he is always on himself to be better in every aspect, and he's fantastic off the field. I'm very proud to announce that our Coaches Award winner this year is Aiden Roy. So before I have Mr. Goodwin step up to do the most improved player. Most improved player for the Tilton Boys soccer program over the years has really developed into an award that we try and give when we take a look at career development. There's plenty of young men up here that we could give it to just in terms of the development this season. Whether it's Big Lou Wood, okay, who when he came out and said, "I want to come play soccer," after the first two practices, I was really worried he was going to injure himself. But he worked his tail off. He worked on his foot skills. He was constantly working to get better. Then you get some of the younger guys like Lex and like Gavin, who continued to improve throughout the season, who were thrown into the fire as ninth graders, which usually doesn't happen, in the best in the best high school soccer league in the country. Okay, and I can say that because just yesterday, a NEPSAC player was named Freshman of the Year for the ACC. NEPSAC has produced more Division I soccer players in the last 20 years than any other high school association in the country. We've got more number one MLS draft picks. Over the past 7 years, we've got 3 Gatorade Players of the Year nationally. And we currently have a player who's playing the premiership for Leeds United, Jack Harrison. This is a tough league. So I'm going to leave Mr. Goodwin to tell you who our most improved player is.
Oh, thank you for that. So before I do give our most improved award, I'd just like to recognize the fact that as coming from coaching JV for the last 5 seasons, I've had the opportunity to coach some of these guys either when they were swinging down to play JV games, if they might have been practicing with varsity as a freshman or sophomore, to playing with me for 2-3 years on JV, and now getting to coach them both this year and last year. So some of these guys I've spent a lot of time coaching, and in doing so, I've seen all of them improve a tremendous amount. There is, one student selected for this award who came in as a freshman and was certainly not the most skilled soccer player, but he was a kid who was there to learn and get better every single day. And he's done that every single day for the last 4 seasons. And that young man is Jack Tuara. So before we do step down, I just want to take one more moment to both recognize and thank Coach Ruggles, who has been such a great leader to this program, a mentor to me, and someone who means a whole hell of a lot to all of these kids right here. So thank you for your time serving this program.
All right, thank you for being here tonight. I told these kids tonight that I was going to keep this very short and sweet. A lot of that is due to the fact that every time I start to think about the end of this season, it gets really hard for me. It's been an amazing group, and I've been extremely lucky to become put into this position that I've had for this season. Before I say anything else, I just want to make sure that I take the time to thank the people that are supporting us to get here and really kept us going from those days in August when we all got started. Marvin did an amazing job for us. He helped me get on my feet, made sure we always had our stuff. Thank you to Ms. Saunders for having us to her house for dinner and taking care of us. Coach Ruggles for his support from time to time and helping me, and for Coach K for always showing up and working with the kids. Most importantly, I would like to take the time to thank Coach Brisson. Being put in this role was a really great responsibility to put in me, and I really have enjoyed it. And thank you to her for all her support. Like I said I was going to keep this sweet, so I will just summarize this in one way. Herb Brooks is a famous hockey coach, the more moving miracle I watch all the time. And it wasn't until this past weekend that I was watching us play against New Hampton School. And although it wasn't the results we wanted, at time it took me back to our season. This team has played most of its season never having its top 10 players on the field at one time, either for health reasons, for other things that came up. And what's funny is I learned while watching that game, what Coach Brooks said is, I'm not looking for the best players, I'm looking for the right ones. That in turn is the epitome of what this team is. We don't need to feel like we're superstars, but when someone has to step up, they always gel together. They always had chemistry. They were always the right kids at the right time, and they always cared about each other. That's all you can hope for as a coach. And I just wanted to say this is a great group. And before we get to the awards, thank you for everyone that supported this team. Thank you very much. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. So anyway, we'll do the awards now. We did have the opportunity to have a Lakes Region All-Star this year. We made that nomination. So our Lakes Region All-Star for this year is Kieran Aslan. Great thing about Kieran, I think anybody who's watched her play over the last 3 years, she is the best goalie in the Lakes region. And every time after most of our games, I would say to Coach, we either won 4-2 or we lost 3-1. That game could have easily been 7-1. Kieran was that important for us. The next award goes to our most improved player. And I think everybody on the team would agree with me that this player has just really brought it every day. I don't think she's missed one practice the whole year. The start of the year, she really gave us energy. She stepped into games when people like literally were like, okay, here we go. Let's see how it works. Coach and I would throw her in. She would bring energy. She would get us fired up. So the most improved player goes to Vivi Valaha. All right. These two are going to be very tough. I'm really glad that I work at a school with Coach Ruggles because it doesn't make me feel as bad about losing it here every once in a while. And I knew I was going to tonight, so I just get ready for it. So this player, literally from the very beginning of the year for me, was just a really like strong, confident player. She had a lot of energy. She really wanted to be a leader. She would play wherever I put her. At times what I liked about this player was like I could coach her, and when I needed to pump everybody up, I could get on her and maybe, just make sure that she was a little more focused than she could be. And every coach needs a kid like that in practice every day that you can kind of just say like, hey, step it up. And if they step it up, everybody steps it up. And she's very positive, and always like kept her head, even in some really tough situations. She always had good perspective. That's a really important thing as a coach to know you have someone like that. So the Coaches Award this year goes to Sid Baxter. The most valuable player this year, again, I think back to our start of the season and things weren't always going well. And I was trying to figure out kind of how I was going to be as a coach and kind of figure out how we were going to figure out to get the ball in the net. And it always didn't look the way I wanted it to look. There's certain players that just have a killer instinct. You don't realize it until you challenge them and you put them in a position where if it's not for them, it's not going to happen. This player has that instinct that you just don't find all the time. And I've never seen a player who can just take over a game and do these things and make things happen out of nothing. She is clearly our most valuable player. The MVP this year goes to Kylie Curtin. Once again, thank you, Kylie, Kieran, and Sid were amazing captains this year, really supportive. If I forgot anybody, I'm sorry, but thank you to everybody for coming out and supporting these guys.
First off, I wanted to give a couple thank yous. Quiet down, guys. To Tara and Emily and Mr. Preston and their staff and everything that you guys do for us. I know that I am unbearable sometimes to work with. I know that I am a pain. I am aware of it, and I appreciate you every day for putting up with me. Thank you, guys. Ms. Saunders, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and hiring me a couple of years ago. We were talking about it today. Ms. Saunders, one place. I've been here for now 3 seasons. It's the only school I've ever been at for 3 seasons. So it's amazing how quickly it's gone. But Mr. Carter, I don't know if I didn't see Chuck. I don't know if he's here, but Chuck and Heather and Bree and everything you do for these guys, keeping them safe. is great. Thank you very much. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Our staff, Zach's been here with me all 3 years. Mike came, I don't know, is Mike here? I told him to come. Coach Lipoli, thanks so much. You saved us by coming on late, and you really saved the day for us, and I appreciate it, okay? All the assistants, you guys are great. Thank you so much. Our awards, our first award is the most improved player. I don't know that it's improved over the year, but he was hurt most of the year last year, and this year is an absolute heck of a player. I can't wait to have him for a couple more years, but he is an animal out there. I don't know if you guys notice it, but he likes hitting, and I like that. So the first award is for our most improved player is Owen Moore. Our coaches award, I could have given this to a bunch of you guys. They do everything I ask of them, and there's a whole bunch of guys on this list that I could have given it to. The guy that I went with does a whole bunch of different things for us. He long snaps, he kicks, he's the part that I love the most about. We bring the bags and the equipment down to the field every single day, put them on the buses and bring them back. He is every single day. He is the first one out there. He's the first guy to go get the equipment. He's awesome. He's a Band-Aid for us. He does a whole bunch of different things, but never says a word, never asks for anything, never. He's always the first one to be out there and do the extra stuff that nobody wants to do. And that's Mike Lipoli. We have two Player of the Year awards. They are going to. The first one is our quarterback. He is. For those of you that don't follow football very much, I can tell you as a coach, when you don't have really good players make really good coaches, and when you don't in football, if you don't have a quarterback, you can't win games. It's virtually impossible. And we're really lucky to have a really good one. His stats are could be through the roof. We run it a lot more than we throw it for those of you that watch our games. But he's got 884 yards passing on the season, which doesn't sound like very much, but when you go through our games and how efficient we are, especially since the Albany game when we lost his last two games, he is 20 of 23 passing, which is really good. And I don't like to throw it very much. I'm a defensive minded guy. So, in my mind, when you throw it, only three things can happen and two of them are bad. So, he gives me the confidence that when we call passing plays, we're calling way more passing plays than I ever thought I would have. And he gives me the confidence that number one, he's going to throw it to the right guy. He's going to throw it to the right team and that we're going to catch it. So, and he's a really good player. And that's Chase Brewster. Chase is also one of our captains. Like Coach Edwards said, I'm glad I work with Coach Ruggles here, and the both of them got emotional. This one's going to be rough for me. Jackson Paradis was here my very first day that I was hired. He was the first, that day I brought him here, or he came here, and he has been everything that I could ask. Half of these guys up here are here because he recruited them or introduced me to them. I don't know where we would be without him as far as, that stuff goes. He has helped me build this program. We sat there together and said, in Ms. Saunders' office and said, come here and we'll build something special together. And we're doing it. So His stats are absolutely ridiculous. The league or the single season record was 1,258 yards by a kid that played 9 games. He's at 1,721 yards, so he absolutely demolished the record, and we still have another game. But the things that he sat down and talked about doing and coming here and helping me build this program, and those are the things that are the most special to me. He's never asked for anything from me, and I absolutely love him to death, and that's Jackson Perkins.
Thank you, coaches. Congratulations again to all of our award winners. As a reminder, if you did receive an award this evening, please stay after to have your picture taken with your coach. Coaches, you have to remain as well. Before we go, I would love to we had a really great ceremony for Coach Ruggles on Wednesday. I got to meet a lot of his former players, and what I can honestly say is I hope that when I stop coaching, that people talk about me the same way that they talk about him. It was pretty incredible to hear the things that his kids said about him that still reign true now today. So I am very excited about all of our award winners. We are going to give our final round of applause today for Coach Ruggles and his 21 years. Thank you all again for joining us. If you got an award, please stay for a picture. Everybody else, dinner is served.
We doing one by one, or are we doing all four?
Thank you guys so much for a great season.
Soccer.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Good job.
You're going to be sending a group chat in hours.
Who wants to go first? Yeah.
Oh, I love this.